graceful and beautiful and physical and angry all at the same time.
Were you idiot, your mind would cave in and your heart would explode within your chest.
This is going to be a shame.
Here we go!
It's Tall Can Audio. It's always a shame. Matt Robinson with you in the TCA Studio here in beautiful Bytown, Canada for your Tuesday edition of the podcast. We've finally gotten it done. We have lured him in here. We have got our buddy Graham Creech back on the show. What's happening, man?
What's going on? Good to be here. Sorry it took so long to get in. This might be my first trip without Steve Bunda. I don't know.
Yeah, you and I, maybe. We've done a couple online.
Yeah,
Bunda
that's right.
We've
done online ones.
Yeah.
Back, especially in like 2020,
I think you've been here once without Bunda.
Okay. See, my memory is not great for
I have
some
a
things.
weirdly good memory for this sort of thing, but I could be wrong. I do also remember, it's so funny now to think back on, also heartbreaking at the same time, that you did come in here once with Bunda wearing a Florida Panthers jersey, and it was before either of the horrific playoff losses to the... It was just that they had beaten the piss out of the Leafs in one regular season game the night before you came. So you showed up, I believe, in your Pavel Bure.
Yeah, it would be a Bure. That would be the only reason I would own a Florida Panthers jersey.
Guy was elite. But just walked in the door and Bunda was already here and we're sitting at the table and look over and like, fuck. Look at this troll.
Yeah.
And that was before, like, I would come to hate the Panthers so much more in the future. But that had not occurred yet, man. I'm glad you're back in here.
You can blame me then, I guess.
And I will, because I'm always looking for scapegoats. And there is only one thing that I have to say about you finally making your way back to the TCA studio, finding us once again.
Hooray! You did it!
How did you get that shit? Can I blame Connors Vita?
Big love to our buddy Kenny Walls. Just a few minutes ago. You have wrapped up a big afternoon of talking sports to come in here and talk sports. We appreciate that. Extend your workday just a little bit.
I hate that clip.
I know you do. That's why I asked him to send it over. I want to get the story behind it. We'll do that in a minute, but we start with the beers, man. What did you grab out of the fridge?
Okay, so I am going out of my comfort zone in terms of
coming here.
What the beer is.
Okay.
But the reason I grabbed a Merit Waves, and the reason I did it is I open your fridge. And I typically do like to try something new when I come here, or something that I'm not always selecting.
Yeah.
And Merit was a beer company that we ordered from in like 2020, like COVID shut down. We ordered across province, and Merit for sure was one that we got some beverages and some glassware from. So I saw the name and I'm like, boom, I'm going with the Merit.
Yeah.
Before I even looked at the description of what Waves is.
Okay.
And it is, so it's very hard to read, but it is cherry. It's a sour cherry, banana, lime, and vanilla. So
that's a
I
lot.
like Merit. I don't know if I'll love this
style
one,
necessarily. Yeah.
Let's see.
That one comes to us, and she's getting a lot of love here over the last couple of weeks on the show, as she always does. Is our friend Angela Thompson, and it's because she shows us love. But she is the sales rep for Lake of Bays. And they recently merged with Merit, so that one came in with one of the many deliveries and drop-offs.
That's not bad. I'll finish that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rare probably of beers that but there's definitely been beers that I haven't finished. Actually, you know what genre I cannot stand? I know, and it goes for coffee. Goes for this time of year, the pumpkin spice.
Oh, okay.
I cannot.
And it is about to become prevalent, right? Like this time of year on everything.
I can't stand pumpkin spice.
Okay.
Beers. I've yet to meet one that I enjoy, and I've just given up. Well, not that it was something I was trying to do, but I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I like trying, experimenting different beers. That's not one. So those I've poured down the sink.
So you know who
this one? You know what? I'll finish this.
Okay.
It's good. I
not
never want to come
your
here
go-to
and
style,
exactly.
but
It's the style that I don't typically go to.
Sure. You know who loves a good pumpkin spice is our mutual friend there, Michaela Schreider, who
pumpkin spice beer,
coffee, whatever. She freely admits when she does the show at this time of year, she calls herself basic white girl. Like everything goes pumpkin spice. It's that time of year. And I can remind the good listener that she will be co-hosting the show on Monday morning. She'll be back on and we'll see if she's into the pumpkin spice at that point. Also kicking around the show right now, a friend of yours there, Creature Kenny Walls, made his TCA debut on the Friday morning edition of the show. Appreciate that. Coming up here within the next week or two, you're going to hear from Julian McKenzie. He's a really fun guy to talk to, really easy guy to chat with. He's got a new book coming out called Black Aces, on the history of black players around the National Hockey League. We're looking forward to having that conversation with him. And also here, I think it's going to drop for you on Friday morning, Andy Nita from the Nita Beer Company. And we'll be talking to him a little about... It's their Oktoberfest. That is Saturday, September 27th. It always blows my mind a little, Creech. Oktoberfest being in late September. But that's over at the Nita Beer Company at 190 Colonnade Road. Tickets are available now, and more details on the event at nitabeer.com. And look, there are two different sessions, because in past years, this has kind of blown up a little bit. It's sort of gotten out of hand a little bit. People sticking around all day, and they like that. But there's going to be two different runs. There's going to be an afternoon edition. There's different games. There's the Stein hold. Have you ever done a Stein hold, Creech?
No.
It's torture. Like, it's just a full beer, and you just hold as long as you can, straight armed.
Oh, you know what? I say no. I must have.
At some point,
yes.
That's crossed your radar.
Again, with my shit memory.
Sure.
I must have.
There's always one of those. There's a keg toss. You get to, whether you want to or not, usually see Andy and Lederhosen. That's a strike against or a reason to go. But like I said, tickets available at nitabeer.com. There's always a different beer. It's usually a Märzen, but they've tried a few different things on Oktoberfest. Andy will be here on Friday morning to talk more about that and all things going on at the Nita Beer Company Oktoberfest. First sip or two there, still treating you well?
Yeah, no, I don't mind an occasional sour, but it's just not in my usual wheelhouse. I usually stick to IPAs and wheats and pilsners and stuff like that. But actually, and stouts. But I'm hard and fast with the stouts. Like it has to be like cool out. It's got to be fall weather. I don't have them when it's hot out. I just don't.
So I will have less of them, but partly it's because there's less available. Like people don't brew them as much in the summer, but every season is stout season. I can tell you that.
I have my seasons, man. It typically, like, the Masters comes around, and it's gin and tonics until about September, October.
Yeah. In the summer, I will have a lot more light beers, but it's more like fruity, citrusy IPAs. And then as the day goes on, you maybe dip into the rum and Pepsi or something like that. Over here, I'm having something from the Perth Brewing Company. This is called the Budbuster IPA. 6.5%.
Good name.
Yeah, this was new to me the last time I passed through there. I'm not sure it's new to them. Like, they have their classics. They have a maple. They have a really nice stout. Some things I've had before. This one jumped out to me. I don't know. I won't swear that it's new. I'll just swear that it's new to me. It does have a little spice to it. It does have a little hop to it, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. And I always try and find a reason, like what's the guest today or what are we going to be talking about to pick that beer. The Budbuster I went with because I have a feeling the team that you regularly cover will be hoping to bust the Buds this year. So we will get into
Look at that stretch.
It's a stretch.
You're like Vladdy at first.
For sure, man. Blowing out a hammy, trying to reach for something. Look, man,
I like the name though, Budbuster.
It's cool, yeah. And it's a nice beer. So far, I am enjoying it. So, look, we'll work through a couple of different topics here, but I am sort of curious right now, as you and I sit here on Monday evening and record this, what's sort of been your early takeaways, maybe surprises when it comes to the NFL season? We are almost 2 weeks deep. There are a couple of 2 Monday nighters. Do you like the doubleheader Monday night?
I love it.
Yeah.
Not every week. Like I think I wouldn't enjoy it as much if it happened every week.
Right.
But the occasional one, I do enjoy. And I love that it's staggered tonight.
Because it used to be like, or not used to, I don't know. But they would do like 7:45 and 8:30.
Yeah.
And you're like, thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
That didn't help me.
It's like, now I got to choose one. And typically one game would suck more than
Sure,
the other.
of course.
But still, no, especially like fantasy purposes or gambling or whatever, which reminds me, I should probably
get your picks in.
Well, I know my picks are in, but it's always fun there's a couple games on a Monday night, throw something else out there.
Sure.
I like it. I'm looking forward to that for sure. And in terms of surprises. Well, actually, we
Good
kinda,
or bad, yeah.
We had a web poll question today at 1200 that was what was the biggest surprise? The Chiefs 0-2 or the Colts 2-0? So I'll stick with one of those two options.
Yeah.
And I chose the Colts today because the Chiefs, they play the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
They play a good Chargers team at a neutral site. Am I shocked they're 0-2? No. The Colts, everyone I think kind of views them as a shitty team in a shitty division. And Danny Dimes is the new guy.
Sure.
What are you going to get? And he throws for over 300 yards this week and a touchdown, runs for another one. And although one of their wins comes over maybe the worst team in football right now in Miami, but the other one comes over Denver, who a lot of people picked to finish near the top or at the top of the AFC
Hoping
West.
that would be a team that would take a step this year.
Yeah. So I'll go with the Colts being 2-0 with Indiana Jones as QB1.
What have you made of, around that team, the owner walking around the sideline? On the headset, we've been seeing her?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm if that was Jerry Jones, people would be losing their minds that this is why your teams are never any good and you can't have ownership down on the field interfering and looking over the shoulder. Now she's sort of making the case that it is, if I'm paying these people, I'd like to know who's any good, who's doing their job properly. Also that I'd like to... I think where it gets dangerous is she involved in the decision making or is she monitoring? Because you could monitor from up top. I'm curious what you make of this, man, because you could get that feed. You could be on the headset from the owner's box or from what. It's a weird look, and I do think that in a lot of different places, if you saw the owner walking around on the sideline on the headsets, people would have a serious problem. But they're shockingly 2-0, so the vibes are good right now.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have an issue with it, and I don't know. I haven't read too much into her reasoning for being down there and whatnot, but I'd say this is a new experience for her, right?
Yeah.
With the changes that have been there because of the passing of her father. That I'm not going to judge that in a negative way right now, especially without. I'm aware of it, and I've seen the viral photos and everything that's going on.
And because it's a woman, it gets extra attention. Women don't know football. All that garbage. But at the same time, like I said, I think there's a lot of franchises, man or woman, when you see the owner walking around, you go, I don't know how comfortable I am with that, right?
I don't even. I think if it was if it was Jim Irsay's son that came in and was on headset on the sidelines, wouldn't it be the same kind of response?
It's a weird look. Yeah.
So I don't have a negative opinion or experience on that.
At 2-0, I guess it's not hurting anything.
I'd like them to start losing though, because my team is in that same division.
When you do look around, the Chiefs, I assume they're going to be fine. But I don't know they're going to be fine. Like at 0-2, are you worried? Not worried like
not
you're
worried because I don't give a shit
No,
about the
exactly.
Chiefs, but,
would you be worried if you were them? Are the wheels about to come off?
I thought going back to last season that I wasn't expecting them to be bad, but that you've already seen, hey, they're aging, they're not as strong in some positions that they were in the past. Kelsey's getting older. I still like Patrick Mahomes a ton. He doesn't have as many weapons as he used to have. Mm-hmm. But last year, how many games did they win by one score and very late, and games that they shouldn't have won?
Wasn't it
and there was a lot of flags.
In one score games or something like that. Now it's going the other way.
So I wouldn't say that this is a shock, especially considering who they've played so far. I still expect them to be a better than average team, but they're in a pretty tough division with some teams that can make some noise. I love the Chargers. Not in terms of a cheering perspective. I love the makeup of their team, and their head coach Jim Harbaugh led my team to a national championship, so I'll always have a soft spot for the khaki commando. But I would say that I'm not shocked with that they're 2-0, but I still have a tremendous amount of respect for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and everything that they've accomplished.
What about the Bills right now? As we sit here, it's not a good division. They've already got the Ravens game in their back pocket this year. They've won that one. At this point, are they pretty much gonna? Like, are we going to be looking at them at the end of the year at 15-2, 14?
I think so.
Yeah, they're just going to, and they have folded in the playoffs before, but like everything at this point, that Baltimore game would have been the stumbling block, and they managed to pull it out of the fire at the last second. Are they at this point all but guaranteed home field through the playoffs, and they're going to be the guys to beat in that division now? Or
I don't know if I'd go as far
Quite
as saying
that
that they're guaranteed to have home field throughout the playoffs, but I would expect them to be a 1 or 2 seed, and they're going to run through their division. They're going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. I no doubt. Especially seeing the way that they came back against Baltimore. Like I expected that to be the game of the week going into it, and then you saw the way that that they were down, and just the way that Derrick Henry was running all over them. For them to come back and win that game is huge. As you said, if it comes down to they have a similar record or the same record with Baltimore, they have that win over them. I think that they're going to be regular season wise one of, if not the best team in the AFC, like wire to wire.
I'm familiar with those teams. The great regular season.
And I'm not even trying to shit on the Bills. Like I am not saying that they can't get it done, especially with what we just said about the Chiefs.
Yep.
So I definitely think that they have the ability to go to the Super Bowl. I was just specifically answering your question about the regular season, and I do think that they'll probably finish at the top of the AFC.
The Bengals, we just found out, have lost their starting quarterback essentially for the year. I think we said 3 months. So
3 months for Joey Cool.
Is that it? Like, is there any chance they can keep their heads above water, or is this a lost year now for them?
No, I think I think that they have the ability to. Jake Browning, I think, went 4-3 a couple of years ago when they were in this situation before. 7 games without Joe Burrow. Browning looked really good coming back against the Jags yesterday or on Sunday. So I don't think that they're done.
Right.
But they're obviously not in a terrific position.
Like,
and
it sounds like such a weenie thing to go down with, and yet anyone who's
just
ever
the
played
name of it,
everybody who's ever played pro football will tell you it's like the most painful thing in the world.
It sounds like saying like guy has a boo-boo.
Well, it's like major league pitchers. I have a blister. I'm down. You're like, get the fuck out there. But I can't throw a ball with a blister on my finger. It's not going to work. So.
Yeah, no, that sucks though. I hate seeing elite athletes.
Yeah.
Go down, especially he's had obviously a knee, a wrist, a calf, and now this turf toe.
He's a guy people pay to watch, right? Like he's one of those guys.
The swagger, the ability.
It's awful to see him bow out like this. I shouldn't have moved off the Bills quite so quickly. We talked on this show on Monday morning about this new, they're calling it a partnership, I guess it is, with MLSE, about being able to come up, and we're going to have some camps here, and I guess you can buy, when I say here, I guess I mean down in Toronto. I sometimes lose my footing on where I'm currently sitting. But
you bastard.
I know. We're going to sell some shirts and some hats with Bills and Argos logos on them. I don't know who wants that. I don't know what Argo fan is over the moon to have their team, playing second fiddle to the NFL. I don't know what Bills fan gives a crap about the Argos. Did you have much of a take when you were reading about that? Was it on your radar at all?
Yeah, I thought it was. I guess where my mind went in the first moment I heard it was just that the CFL probably can't be thrilled about this. And,
no. Well, the Argos are like, hey, aren't you our guy? Like, don't you own our team? Why you already own a football team?
Yeah, so I that's where I wondered about immediately. I don't think. I think in the CFL, like, you have super, super passionate Canadian Football League fans. So I don't think that there's and on the flip side of it, like there's a ton of people that love every second of the NFL, and they don't care about the
Couldn't care
CFL
less,
whatsoever. So I don't think there's what is there to gain?
What is the crossover?
From it's not like, you know what, maybe let's try out this NFL thing.
Sure.
Let's see, or like
I've never heard of these Buffalo Bills.
So I do find it odd and interested to see kind of where it goes from there.
I just looking at it, as someone who's grew up before I moved up here, you and I may have talked about this before. I abandoned the Argos. Grew up an Argo fan. Liked the CFL.
Like
watched the Argos.
fan?
Yes. Went to several games. Like I watched the Argos every week. And when I moved up here in 2012, we're just ahead of the arrival of the Red Blacks. And I was like, I can get on board with this. I won't be called whatever you might want to, like, for jumping. This is an expansion team. They're supposed to be terrible. Like, I'm not going to be accused of being a front runner who jumped from one championship team to another, right? This is my new adopted hometown. I'll get on board with this. And I did. And I've been a staunch Red Blacks guy ever since. As painful as that's been.
Yeah, it's tough right now.
It's not ideal right now. I was never able to make that leap and didn't even try from the Leafs to the Sens. But when you talk about
I always say you're a little bit. I think you're a little bit coming around.
Yeah, Graham Nichols was trying to sell me on that too. He's like, I think you're softening. I'll never admit it. But like when you get to a point like that, I grew up cheering for the Argos, and I look at this deal, and obviously I'm a Leafs guy, I'm a Jays guy, which is now essentially like MLSE is technically separate from the Jays, but Rogers has bought out Bell. Like, it's all the same ownership, and I just look at how they're mistreating the Argos in this, and above that, just in a general sense, I don't know what MLSE is getting out of this. You're getting some sponsored Sunday parties at Real Sports where no one can afford to eat or drink anyway. Like, it looks to me like the NFL just making sure, like, I think we talked about that Bills in Toronto series on the Monday show about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, and that's not something that's going to be happening with the new stadium.
Got a nice new stadium, a rich new owner.
It's weird.
But it does feel like over the last several years, there's been some talk about NFL possibly expanding, and maybe Toronto could get back on the radar. I think that's now been swatted away. Like, Buffalo, go get it. That's your territory. Go grab some more money. Go make sure that's your area. And it already was, and I don't understand what MLSE and Toronto GTA football fans are getting out of this.
Did you grow up a Bills fan?
No, and I've talked about this on the show before. I resented how hard the Bills were shoved down my throat.
Even here, before you get all the ability to watch any game you wanted. That's
the
what was on
local
TV all the time.
CTV would always have
Bills.
the Bills, or whatever.
That's
there was
part of the reason why I
commercials.
decided not to cheer for the Bills.
And when I grew up in Oshawa, just outside Toronto, the local Fox station we got was WUTV out of Buffalo, and so again, all Bills all the time. And my default stance was always, I get that they're the closest team to me. And so in theory, that's local, but there's an international border involved. Like, that's not my hometown. That's not my team. I'll pick my team. And for the longest time, it was no more complicated than, hey, I really like Peyton Manning. He plays for the Colts. That'll be my team. He moved off to Denver. That'll be my team. Like, I'm not a hardcore NFL guy. I'm kind of a casual NFL guy. But I just look at this. Like, I'll watch the biggest game every week, and I'll watch the playoffs and whatever. It's great television. It's great football. I do enjoy it, but I don't have right now what I would call a hardcore cheering or rooting interest. And I just look at what's gone on here, and I don't understand what the GTA and what MLSE have gotten out of this deal. I certainly understand what the Bills are getting. They're going to grab some cash out of the GTA and buy our shirts, buy our whatever, buy our tickets, which they were already doing. It just seemed weird, man. I didn't get this deal at all.
Yeah, definitely.
On the other side of the border, we are playing football here in the nation's capital. I've checked out. I got to be honest, man. And
totally fair. Can I before I
yeah, do it.
Just to interrupt here because I think where you're going.
Yeah.
So obviously, I pay attention to the team and I watch all their games and I support the Red Blacks, but I don't have like a part of my role at 1200. Like for the most part, I'm not Like I'm not doing the pre and post or
Yep.
anything like that. That's Matt Conasvita, but I filled in and did a couple for him while he was on vacation this year.
Off to see Oasis. Not a bad
not a bad
vacay.
trip for Matty. So the second game I did was the game they fell to 1-6. And there was a shitload of reaction that night on the pre and post game show. And there were several callers that call every game, like for as long as the team's been here.
These are our regulars.
Yeah, these are regulars. They call every single game.
Yeah.
They love the Red Blacks. They're critical of them, but they support them. And multiple people that night were like, "Hey, like this is still my team. I'm not like quitting on them and whatever, but I'm done for the year. Like I'm writing the season off.
Yeah.
I'm not calling the post game show anymore. I'll be back in game 1 next year.
Right.
But
this isn't one of those
done.
fake screw these guys forever. It's just this year's lost. I'm out. I'm out.
And like we had multiple every game callers say that. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you said you were kind of checked out. And I've noticed since then, and they won a couple games, and it's you kind of get a little bit of the crowd back.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh.
And half of those people who said I'm done.
Left.
Yeah. And half the people who said they were done weren't really done. Right. Like I go through this every year when the Leafs go down in flames in the playoffs, and people are like, fuck it, I'm not even watching the next regular season. I'll see you in the playoffs and you can try and reconvince. And all through the regular season, you still see them online. They're still commenting. They're still whatever. But some of them do disappear and it chips away at it a little bit. And this franchise had a great vibe going. The building or the stadium.
They were like a model expansion franchise.
Yes. And the stadium became the story for the longest time. Like, it's always a great environment and people love it and it's a fun place to be on a Friday. And even that has stopped. That's not enough reason to go anymore.
Because so many of the games have been losses, except for last year at home. And they've been dog shit. They haven't been entertaining. So it's like...
And on top of it all, somehow you're always getting rained on.
Oh my God.
Which is out of their control, but it still sucks.
I'll joke, like if I'm hosting a show before and we're at the stadium, I'm like, hey, it's 25 and sunny. I'm like, might be a Red Blacks win tonight.
Sure. I'm curious, like, I do expect in the pregame and the postgame and whatever else, you said you sat in there a little bit for Matty K. Like, those are your hardcore Red Blacks fans catching the radio broadcast throughout the day when you guys are doing the drive and other programming. And obviously, you're still going to have on Duke Ellickson or other CFL. Dave Naylor comes on the station often enough. Do you feel that there's apathy setting in on the text line or in the calls you get? Or is there still, like, as long as, I sort of feel like as long as people are still pissed off, that's good, right? Like, they're still engaged. They still care. And I'm going to, even at 2:45 p.m. on a Thursday, text in and tell you why I'm still pissed about last Saturday's game. I think that's a good sign. Is that still there or is it fading? Is apathy setting in?
Yeah, I'd say, well, number one, Sens drive the bus.
100%.
Like, people want to hear and they want to talk Sens.
Yep.
And we could start a segment and be like, all right, who should be the 13th forward? And like people will text in and debate and get angry and
here's why Tyler Boucher deserves a chance.
All that.
Yeah.
And then you could have like a great chat or guest Red Blacks related.
Yep.
And you just don't see the same volume. Like even if they were an over 500 football team right now. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. No. You don't get that. Like it's just you don't get the volume that you would get when you're talking about the nitty gritty of the Sens like 82 game schedule.
Sure.
So to say like I've noticed a significant drop off or apathy setting in, like I can't say that. Like I'd say a little bit post game wise,
right?
But like 2 to 6, I would say that people that are passionate about the team one way or another, you still kind of hear from.
Right.
But I would say post-game show, and again, Matt Conasvita is a better guy to ask because he hosts them, and I've done two.
Yeah.
I listen when I'm not working sometimes, depending on what's going on.
I guess the reason I ask is just during those spots with Matty K, pre and post game, those are people who are there for the CFL, for the Red Blacks.
But I would say
the
that
midday, maybe it's your average listener, and I wonder how much they're still checking in or
honestly hard to say
Yeah.
because like I said, Sens and Hockey Talk drive the bus.
Yeah.
That's number one in this city. It'll always be number one
100%.
in this city. So it's hard to gauge. But I will say, like, I've noticed, like, Red Blacks postgame show, there's you know what? There's still a significant amount of texts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the people that called in at 1 and 6 and said they were done,
Yeah.
I can't confirm because I haven't worked every show.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure most of them actually haven't called back.
Yeah.
And they used to call every week.
Right.
So
It's hard to blame them, man. It really is.
oh yeah.
Like, this has been a passionate football market that honestly had been through hell long before the Red Blacks arrived with different ownerships and franchises.
And you know what? That's what you hear is people will quote the record in the last 30 years.
Sure. The Renegades were, and that's, you're not going to love this, well, compared to the Leafs. It's Brad Treliving right now. Before that, it was Kyle Dubas. You're like, are you really going to ask William Nylander to answer for what happened in 1991? Probably not, but those fans have been here the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been kicked in the nuts repeatedly, whether those players are responsible for it or the management's responsible for it. I'm here.
I like that you said that because I think some people don't like when history is mentioned with the numbers because I don't have them in front of me.
Sure.
I know a handful of my colleagues can quote the exact numbers. James Duke Ellingson could tell you what it's been.
Sure.
He would know those stats, but some people don't like when those numbers are brought up because, as you said, like new franchise, new ownership, new GM, like it's completely different. But like the reason that I'll hear like those are those fans that were going to those games
I'm
and paying
that
for those
guy.
tickets.
I've been here
and
the
now
whole
they're
time.
doing it, and it's like all I have experienced for the most part is losing.
Right. It's tough, man. It's tough on the fan base. I think OSEG, for the most part, has done as best they can, right? They've made it a fun place to go and watch a game. They have turned over management when they felt it was necessary. They've turned over coaches, sometimes not as fast as people want, but you also don't want to cut the cord too soon. It's a tough balance to ride. And man, I think, you lose your starting quarterback again this year to injury, and man, it's getting hard to watch. And for me, a guy who's always loved the CFL, I don't know. The Jays are hot right now. Do I really want to turn and watch the Red Blacks blow another one late or whatever else? Or this Blue Jay?
Or you mean get down multiple scores to start the game?
This is it. Our friend Lisa Wallace posted on Friday night, I think, was that like this is the first time the Red Blacks have scored a point in more than 1 point in the first quarter in like 6 weeks.
And you know how many points they scored in the first quarter?
1.
3.
Oh, you're right. It was 3. That's right. You're like, Jesus. The Jays for me, and I want to take the conversation here, have been almost the opposite. Like this team came in like, man, maybe if everything goes right, they'll be a wild card team. They'll sort of hang around. And yet, all year, they've been pulling things out of the fire, late comebacks, weird walk-off. Joey Loperfido hits a walk-off home run. It's something you're like, where did that come from? And they're in first place. And so I got one team that I love that's shocking me in terms of how good they are, and another that's just like, yeah, you can shut this one off by 3 minutes into the second quarter or whatever else. And when those things happen at the same time, it's hard to keep my attention on the Red Blacks. I'm curious, man, because I know baseball is obviously something you follow. It's obviously something you keep your eye on to do the job that you do. But I know baseball is not your number one sport.
It used to be my number 2.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I played and loved baseball growing up. And I like, even as through all the years where the Jays would always have 70 to 80 wins. I talk about Frank Catalanato or Lyle Overbay or whatever you want. Like I can talk about those teams.
Sure.
I used to watch, like those years I used to watch 120, 130 plus games. It's just, it's not like I fell out of love with baseball. It's just I'm busy.
It's
like
every night. You got a family now.
I used to love you know what? We're going out to the bar Friday night. Sleep in till 11 or 12 on Saturday and Sunday and put on the Jays and just be hungover on the couch watching Jays.
100%, man.
Yeah. Guess what? I can't just sit down and watch 3 hours of baseball on a Sunday afternoon.
Well,
anymore.
and at some point, like before the rule changes, you already had kids. Games are 4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours, 10 minutes. Like the rule changes they've made were tremendously important.
So
right?
I still like it. but easily, like hockey and football, easily ahead of baseball for me now in terms of time spent watching.
Yeah.
But I'm dialed into this Jays team, and I always follow them, and I will, like, postseason starts, I'll be watching the games in their entirety. Like I'm not going to be a casual.
Like, are you one of those guys? Like for me, whether the Jays are in or not, there's something about playoff baseball that'll grab you. Like, I'll watch Detroit, Cleveland, or I'll watch. Yeah, like
specifically Jays, I'll watch every minute of.
Yeah,
but the rest of it, I'll watch large portions of. But I won't be like, you know what? I need to watch 9 innings of whatever other series.
Yeah.
No, it's just I just don't have as much time in my personal life.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another sport that's kind of same kind of thing is I tune back in the postseason, although not really a ton until the conference finals because it happens at the hockey, is basketball. Like I used to watch 60, 70 Raptors games a year, and it just doesn't happen as much anymore because my personal life is busy, my work life is busy with covering the Senators and all that stuff.
So to me, basketball is probably my number 4. But yet, like you said, when you get down to the conference finals, it is at the same time as the hockey playoffs, but if there's something crazy, and
but they're alternate nights once you get to that.
That's
point.
right.
That's why I don't usually get too into first rounds 1 and 2 because I'm watching 3 hockey games every night, or more.
And last year was so much fun when you're watching SGA do his thing. You got Jamal Murray over here doing his. Like there was a lot of Canadian content that grabbed me. But I need a story. I need a reason to. Obviously, when the Raptors were playing in the playoffs, I would check that out. It's too bad Uncle Dennis couldn't get his client to share the Leafs like he was trying to do and keep quiet in Toronto. Look, it's basketball for me. It sort of feels like is where you're at with baseball. Like I enjoy it, and I will check in if my team's not in it, but probably not till a little bit later, right? Like it's tough. You can't watch everything, right? You can't be everywhere, especially if you got kids. It's
actually, another thing that's taken a hit over the years with kids. Although you know what, it's F1 is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And same thing. Like when I was a kid, I watched every weekend. I was all in on the F1. And so I won't say that
so you're not one of those Johnny-come-latelys on the reality series?
Well, I am. I am because I did get out of it completely.
Okay.
And then...
I don't say
Drive
that
to
as
Survive?
Yeah, and I don't say like I didn't watch that, and I still don't watch F1, but it did reignite.
Yeah,
F1.
so I watched season 1 and 2 of Drive to Survive and got back into it, and I was even in a F1 pool for a couple of years. Yeah. And I've kind of fallen back out of it.
You got me down the other day. I came looking to you for a pool, and you couldn't help me.
I know. Regular season hockey pools. I'll tell you, I don't know too many people that
still
do them
it,
anymore.
Right?
But I did have a couple of absolute pistols. Of dudes, they're twins. Shout out Greg and Trevor. And
it sounds like you should be running a hockey pool.
They did. No.
Okay.
I don't.
I ran one for a while.
I don't love the regular season hockey one.
Okay.
It's just too much. Unless you wanted to do like a draft. And it's like you don't have line combinations. And you're just like, here's your team for the year, and whatever happens.
I see what that is.
I'll do one of those. I have no time. Every single night.
Well, this is the difference, right? The football one, you said it once a week, and that's your thing. Hockey, people want more swaps. They want to be in there every night.
Well, it's just the last couple of times I was in a regular season hockey pool too. It's like you're in the draft and someone drafts some fucking third line defenseman who doesn't put up points, and it's like, oh, but this guy has a ton of pims and hits and block shots, and it's like this guy's more valuable than a starting goaltender. What is going on here? So I didn't even mean to shit on fantasy hockey, but I don't play edit your line regular season fantasy.
This is it, because I have been in that pool where I have one swap left this week, and on Sunday, it's head to head, and I'm down in one category, and I can swing it, and I'm only down by like 2 hits in that category, and I will, or shot blocks, and I'll grab Radko Gudas. I can, on Sunday, he's going to block 4 shots. I'll take that category. I don't have time to do that all the time, and I don't have time as the guy who ran my pool for everyone who complains about that, right, and sends me that message.
And, shout out stick taps to the hardcores that
100%,
do those.
man.
I just don't. It's not something that interests me. I do run a postseason pool every year.
Okay.
And same thing, like you pick your guys and that's it. Like
Like
there's
the
no
box pool kind of setup.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no line combinations, whatever. Like I don't intend to shit on fantasy hockey, but it's just too much for me.
Last thing before we take a break, man, I am curious. You've sort of said as the family life has set in, some things have to be tossed overboard. I know you're a UFC guy. You did a bunch of shows with me and Bunda on that.
We got to do another one with Buns.
We got to do that.
Love that guy.
Again.
Shout out to Steve Bunda.
100%.
Guy.
He's a beaut.
Oh,
and
unbelievable dude.
I just spoke to him. So you and I are recording this on Monday evening. I traded a couple texts with him. I said, so the Buccaneers on Monday night, he's staying up because he's starting work He's doing the morning show there on CFR, right?
Guaranteed his answer was
he
yes.
said I took a 2-hour nap, and he was, much like we talked about, thanking God for the doubleheader, the true doubleheader, because his team's on first, right?
Yeah.
So he said that bought me an extra hour, an extra 50 minutes of sleep. So yeah, he'll be up for sure. But on Saturday, we saw Dana White and his group there under the TKO banner, this first Zuffa Boxing. And again, Zuffa is sort of the company that owns the UFC, but is now owned by TKO. It's needlessly complicated. But it was Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford wins the thing. If you're not familiar with those names, that's fine, but they are big names in the boxing world. And it's just boxing has taken a bit of a hit over the last, 10 or 20 years. But under the TKO banner, with Dana White promoting, Netflix as your broadcaster, like they're trying to push this again and make it a big deal. I got to tell you, man, it landed on my radar. I was interested enough to check it out until I saw the pacing. And it wasn't till like 12:40 a.m. that the main event was going to make the walk. I was like, I don't care enough for this. Like, you and I have both seen UFC main events go in at 12:40, 1 a.m. It sucks, but it happens. And I will stay engaged because I love that sport. This is what I'm checking out because of the hype, because of Netflix, because of but it's still going to be just boxing. And when I saw how late it was going to be, I checked out. Did it ever land on your radar? Are you a boxing guy? Was the hype around it enough to keep you engaged? And if you checked it out, did you stay in it?
Do you think I checked it out?
You check out a lot of stuff, man. You're all in, and you're a late night. You're a night hawk. I'm going to say yes.
I did.
There you go. All right.
So, speaking of things that we don't watch anymore, I wouldn't say like I was a massive boxing guy, but I remember I had my best buddy. His parents had like one of those black boxes where you could get free pay-per-view, and
they would always like flash the card right before, and you had to get it reset or something.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
He was in charge of setting it up.
Okay.
But I remember watching Evander Holyfield. He was my guy. Watching him fight Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, like on that illegal black box back in the day. So I used to watch a decent amount of boxing.
Okay.
Only those big pay-per-views.
100%.
And I haven't really for years kind of followed, but and I kind of actually forgot that it was on this Saturday. But I don't remember what I was doing Saturday evening. I think I was checking out, like I'm in a college football pool. So I think I was probably watching a late night college football game, like Hawaii or something. And then I like went to Netflix and I was like looking for like a movie or something.
Sure, something. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit. I'm like, let's check this out. So I turned it on. Don't remember what time it was, but the main event, I think it was the undercard.
This co-main event,
the co-main or whatever,
was walking to the ring at 11:23 p.m.
So that sounds about familiar.
Yeah.
If Hawaii football would have been on, probably about 10:30, so that makes sense. So I turned it on and I was like, this isn't the main event yet. So I don't remember what I did. I went back to sports or watched a show or something, but I started watching it and then I fast forward an hour or whatever, an hour and a half. I'm like, let's go check out the fight.
Yep.
And I tuned it back on and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You go to it and it stayed where I was. So I had the ability to watch live or press fast forward or whatever. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I did, and I caught the last couple rounds of the fight and the post match interviews and shit like that. And So I did tune in a little bit, and it's because of Netflix. Like even I can stream stuff. I know how to watch stuff, but I don't think I would have
just
went.
hooked me up here a couple of weeks ago. Man, it's life changing.
It is, especially if you follow football teams that aren't on very often, like Jacksonville. So I don't think I would have seeked this out, but because I was on Netflix and it's like, boom, that's the first thing that hit me when I logged into Netflix.
Yeah, it's right there on the top.
So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so I'm interested to
There's still something
see the
about
numbers.
a big fight, right?
Yeah.
There's still something about a boxing match, and yet it's so funny, man, because Dana said on the Friday he was interviewed, and they said, what's one of the things that you're hoping that Zuffa boxing will turn around that other boxing promotions have failed at? And he said, there's time to go watch a full-length movie between some of these fights. We're going to speed it up. And they promised that promise is a strong word. They predicted the main event guys would take the walk at 11 p.m. And at 11:20, the co-main is taking the walk. And you're like, this is a fucking disaster. And if I assume Netflix would be pissed. These are two big guys. They paid a ton of money for this thing. Like, I'm not a huge boxing guy, but I know those names. Those are two big names in the boxing world, and you didn't get them into the ring until 12:45 a.m. You killed the East Coast on the very first presentation, man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Even with the UFC, like you have a headliner that would headline like any card, and they're starting at midnight or 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Like that's fucking crazy.
It is, man.
And you said I'm a Nighthawk. Like I'm going to bed like tonight, Monday night.
Yeah.
I'll probably go to bed at 1 or 2.
Right.
And I'm up.
It doesn't start until 12:45.
It's got to start a little bit earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Like ideally, I think for UFC or for boxing, for me anyways. And again, like I'm not a crazy boxing purist, so people that like boxing could totally disagree.
And this is where it goes wrong, right?
It should be 10 o'clock, like main event, 10 p.m. Boom.
Well, you're trying to stretch it over the West Coast and the East Coast prime time is where they get into trouble.
So what's wrong with 10 o'clock?
I'm with you, but it means the first half of the card was too early. And look, it's a bit much, man. And I'm not a boxing guy. And even at the UFC, where I do engage and I do love it, I'm like, oh man, it's 12:55 and we're just now getting to the main. I'm tired. Like I'm old. I'm getting too old for this shit. And especially now where I know I just get up in the morning and watch it, right? Like I know how I can find this. And I don't know, man, it's tough because there's still something, even as a guy who was never a big boxing guy, that goes, this was one of those fights that grabs everyone's attention. And yet, you said, man, that needed to be in the ring at 11 o'clock at the latest, not at 12:30, not at 12:45. And to have had Dana say, this is one of the things we are going to clean up. And one of the things that, if you're not a fight fan, it's you don't know how long all these fights are going to go. If all of them go the distance instead of somebody knocking somebody else out in the second round, it's a long night, right? It's a long night. And that can happen in the UFC. It can happen in boxing. And sometimes the main event's in the ring at like 11:55 p.m. because the prelims have all ended in knockouts in the first round or whatever. There is a little bit of unpredictability to it, but I would imagine Netflix was not thrilled with the scheduling.
The money in boxing, though. I saw something today, and I only saw like a graphic of this, so I didn't do any research on it, but I think Canelo made $150 million for that fight. And the entire UFC roster, and I don't know if it was for 2025 or 2024, but one of the years made $140 million combined. Like that's crazy.
It's insane. Under the same banner now, under Zuffa, under TKO, it's nuts. And yeah, there was something else. I think it was they promised before the card started there would be two different $50,000 bonuses, maybe $150,000 bonuses, and the UFC bonuses are like $25,000. You're like, hey, are we your main business or not, Dana? Like, what's going on here? Now that was at a monster stadium there in Vegas, right? And as opposed to a hockey arena, a basketball arena, but it's still, man.
What about the White House?
We'll see how that's going to go. I did see, speaking of presidencies, that while Conor McGregor remains on tap to main event the White House show, he has already called off his run for the Irish presidency. So can't believe that didn't pan out. Let's take a break here, man. We got to talk some hockey on the other side. We'll do that. We'll grab another pint. Stay there.
Society put Drederick Tatum away for his brutal crime, but he's paid his debt, and now he's going to get revenge on Homer Simpson.
Let's dive back into it here. We'll have another pint. We got to talk some Sens here. We're going to talk a couple of hockey questions I got for Creech here. But first, another pint. What'd you grab there, man?
I wasn't sure what I was going to go with. Lots of options in your big fridge. And then I found out
The little fridge.
that you have a mini fridge in your studio.
secret stash.
So I opened it. Like, what's in here?
Yeah.
And at the back of it, I was like, that looks like a tooth and nail can. Mm-hmm. It was. Mm-hmm. And I pulled out a Red Mosquito, Belgian-inspired golden ale.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a Red Mosquito before.
Okay.
I've had several different.
They make some nice stuff. They're stout.
Their Pilsner is really good, too.
Okay,
They
yeah.
have. I would put their Pilsner up against a lot of Pilsners.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've had a Red Mosquito. It's possible that I have, but I don't remember. I feel like I'd remember that name, too.
That mosquito will bite you at 8.5%. So that's... I just had that one for the first time on Monday, actually.
I did not see that it was 8.5%. Yeah. That is a little bit of a mosquito bite.
That'll treat you well. This one over here that I have circled back to.
Okay, yeah, that's 8.5%.
Yeah. Nothing new over here as far as the listener goes. This is a personal favorite that when my mind goes blank, I always circle back to. It's the Great Lakes Octopus Wants to Fight. Also coming in at about 7.5%, I believe. So we'll stumble to the finish together, man. This is a... Look, before we get into the hockey thing, I'm sure the loyal listener to TSN 1200, which I am, already knows the answer to this. But I keep hearing this clip. And I hear two things. That everyone else loves it, and I'm included in that. And that you absolutely do not. And that was what we let off the show with.
Hooray! You did it!
What's the story behind
Forgot about
this
that thing.
man? What's the
Like
story
from earlier in the
this?
show.
Yes.
So...
Where does that come from?
So... Just trying to be careful with my words. I'm not trying to sewer anyone, but there's some ads that run throughout Canada.
Yes.
Definitely Ontario anyways. And they're known for their kind of outrageous story time commercials. Okay. And I was mocking it. And
are you on the air, or is this just a mic
I was on the
running
air
in the studio? Okay.
I honestly, I've done it twice. There's another like scream that I did. I don't remember if it was a wow or a scream.
Okay.
But I mocked it, and then the hooray you did.
It's not the other win. Like there is a wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I honestly, I don't. That would not have been a good impression because I apologize to listeners too that you're wearing headphones right now. Probably sucks, but I did something like that, like after hearing it, and then this one came in, and they're like, "Hooray, you did it!" So I was just like mocking it, and then Matt clipped it, and now they use it every time they every time someone wins a prize. Yes. Yeah.
And I enjoy it. And it took me a second to notice it was you. And actually, until this very moment, I didn't know the wow that gets used.
Yeah, so is it a wow or a scream? I honestly don't remember.
There is a wow.
So, the wow is me also, and it's the same company commercial that
okay. And there's a Kenny Walls. Obviously, it's different. Bye, everybody. That's now been worked in every night. But this one, hooray, you did it.
I hate it so much.
Hooray, you did it!
Back, I'm sure you probably went through similar things, man, when I was doing radio down at Loyalist. If you were in a room with microphones, just don't talk. Because somebody was going to clip something and it was going to be used
honestly,
later.
I'm fine with the clippings. Like that's what makes it entertaining, I think. I'm not saying me specifically, but just...
Well, it's one thing when it gets grabbed as something you've said on the show, but this would be like we're all just gathered around to like create a project,
Oh.
but the mics are running and you don't know that someone else has gone, yeah, Matt just
Yeah,
said
no,
whatever."
I've been more careful over the years
Yeah.
with what I say on microphones that I believe aren't going anywhere, but you never know, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. Like I try to, whenever we get new producers, I try to tell them to like, hey, like if one of us says something
Grab
stupid
it.
or funny or whatever, like let's just clip it and save it because you never know. Like it could be funny or
Sure.
whatever. So a lot of the producing I did was for like Steve Lloyd and Todd White and Ian Mendez and Sean Simpson. And then when Sean Simpson passed, we played a shitload of his
wonderful,
drops,
man,
and
to
the
be
guy
able to
was
have that.
hilarious.
Yes.
And I'm so happy I have these. So I don't mind getting clipped. It just means I say stupid shit sometimes. And
When you live on a microphone, at some point you're going to say something.
there's some guys that Steve Lloyd didn't get caught very often.
No, eh?
And that, like,
Just a
I
pro's
remember
pro.
White, because Whitey got caught all the time, just saying stuff that didn't make sense or made him look stupid. And what do they call him? Pickles? And he'd always be like, "Why don't you pick on Lloydie?" I'm like, "Lloydie doesn't sewer himself.
Doesn't
Like, he
open
just-
himself up.
He doesn't do it to himself."
Yeah.
And then Simmer kind of was like, "Oh, like you guys don't pick on Mendez." It's like Mendez doesn't do that to himself as often as you do either. Although Mendez has a couple of really dirty ones unintentionally. He was talking about going to the Nutcracker and called it like Nutbuster, and then later on was like, "Oh, you just want to see Graham's nuts." And then he's like, "Oh, like I didn't mean it like that." So
It's always best
I
when
have
you
a couple from him. Yeah.
I got a pile too from my co-host here, Rob, but I almost never capture my own mess up, so why would
Exactly,
I, right?
exactly.
And I'm the only one who produces in this studio.
Actually,
so
one of my favorite ones to bring it back to this podcast
Yeah.
is Steve Bunda was in. He must have been producing or something, but they were doing Leftover 5 on the Drive. It was
Okay.
a staple that Mendez did at 5:30 every day on the Drive, and
things we haven't gotten to yet.
yeah, and just like stories like, you know what, there's probably not room for this in
Yeah.
the show. Nobody cares too much about this story, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in here. And they were talking about Puig.
Yasiel
Yasiel
Puig at the
Puig.
Dodgers there. Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what the story was, but they were talking about something that he did or made news for. And Bunda was like, "Oh yeah, Puig was caught. He was going to Cuba, and he's from Cuba, and there was some guys from Cuba, and he was going to Cuba on a boat to Cuba." And then AJ chimes in, and he's just like, "And was he going to Cuba?"
Say Cuba more.
It was one of my favorites. And Bunda's just a beauty.
Of course, man.
But he mentioned Cuba like 15 times in 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, and you got to be able to laugh at yourself, right? You might as well have a good time with it. So, look, man, let's talk a little hockey. We are sitting here. What is it Wednesday that camp opens officially for the Sens?
Yeah, medicals and everything. We'll hear, I believe, from the coach and the GM, and then first on ice sessions will be Thursday, and we'll hear from the players.
Look, you've been around this team for quite a while. I'm curious, sort of, at this point, when you look at the offseason that they had, it's interesting. Like, it sort of felt like this team could have used a couple of, like, nothing radical, but a little help in a couple places to boost. And like, maybe Lars Eller will be that. Certainly, I thought the Jordan Spence trade was interesting. But one of the things that, you know, we've talked about on the show a few times is there wasn't a lot available this year. And so it's better to maybe be annoyed that your team on the up and come didn't do a lot than to be annoyed that they did a lot and it was all stupid. Like, there just wasn't good options available. So you kind of stand pat. There's still some young pieces here. I think people are still watching Tim Stützle put his game together. We've seen that he can put up over 90 points. We've seen now in the playoffs that he can sort of, I think, like a lot of guys in the first game or two, was overly rambunctious trying to show he was physical, and then through the rest of the series, okay, I got it. Here's the line. I can be physical without being crazy and over the top. We've seen guys taking steps forward. Jake Sanderson, obviously, ended up on that USA Hockey radar, or radar's the wrong term, on the roster at Four Nations. Yeah. And now I don't think there's anybody who thinks he won't be on the actual, like he won't be an afterthought. He won't be somebody got hurt, we need somebody. He will be on that Olympic roster. When you look at the offseason they had, were you expecting them to do a little more? Are you disappointed that they didn't? Were there opportunities lost? Or did you go, yeah, you know what? This is on the right track and there's not a ton out there right now. Just take it easy and...
Yeah, no, I like what they did because I just don't think, like you said, I don't think there was a ton out there realistically. Like going into the offseason, a lot of Sens fans were like, oh man, they need a top 6 winger. Sure. And
who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. A, they're in high demand, and B, it wasn't the market for it. And I'm okay with what they did. I think they legitimately have 10 guys that are. And you can make an argument that is even more than that, but specifically 10 guys that are top 9 forwards where it's like, oh man, like someone's going to be playing on the 4th line that should probably be up on the 3rd line, or you know what, this is a good problem to have. You're just strengthening your roster top to bottom. And then on the blue line, same thing. Adding Jordan Spence, I thought was a really smart move.
Yeah.
You still end up getting the guy you want in the draft, and you add an asset on the right side just to. And I really liked Nick Matten-Paolo's progression over the year. Like training camp last year, nobody was talking about Nick Matten-Paolo, and then
he's taking playoff minutes.
He took some minutes from Travis Hamonic, and like there were injuries and everything, but he ended up earning that where he's in the lineup over Travis Hamonic, and he's on that 3rd pair with Tyler Clevin. Mm-hmm. He was on the Finnish Four Nations team partly because they only have, I think, 8 NHLers that were healthy or in total that could play, and it was an NHL tournament. But he didn't look out of place there. Nope. He was fine, and then he looked good down the stretch and in the playoffs. So I think they just have more depth on their blue line than they did going into the season last year. And then in goal, like I'm a big Levi Marilainen guy, and I know he's only played 12 NHL games, but in my opinion, he saved their season. Yeah. He saved their season last year for sure. And the argument against it, like that I heard from some Sens fans, were like, "No, you want this guy playing, like be your stud and play all the games in Belleville." It's like Linus Ullmark has never played 50 games, and even if he's healthy and he gets in all the games that they schedule him for, and let's call it 55,
right?
Marilainen's going to play. Like it's not like he's not like Ullmark's playing 70 games.
Yeah, he's not behind Brodeur or whatever.
He's going to play. Yeah. So, and it'll be a big test for him. He's played the 12 games, so largely kind of unproven in this role in terms of being an everyday NHLer, but I believe that he has the talent and the mentality to be that. And I like what they did. And I think Adam Gaudette's story last year was phenomenal.
Sure.
This was a guy who came in on a 2-way. Again, nobody thought he was going to play on the Senators last year, like full time. A lot of us were like, okay, he's going to be in Belleville and he'll be an injury replacement, and he'll come up and he'll chip in. He played 81 games. He was healthy scratched in their 2nd game against Montreal. That was it. He played 81. He scored 19 goals. It was a great story. But I like, and I'm happy he was able to cash in San Jose and get rewarded for the first time. Really,
because he fell off later. Like he was incredible scoring goals through the first half. You have a better memory of this than I would. And he sort of fell off in the second half.
Of course he did.
Because he was never that guy. But good for you, man. Now take that and get somebody to pay you for it. And he did it. Like he got money.
Yeah.
Hooray, you did it.
I'm really happy for him. Great story. Yeah. And you see guys at that age kind of, and he talked about that a lot last year. It was just kind of recognizing what he had to do to be an everyday NHLer. And it wasn't like, obviously the 19 goals helped, but like it was just a second stint in Ottawa. And in the past, like if there was a 50-50 play at the blue line where he's going one-on-one with the D, like you might try to dangle him or whatever and turn the puck over. Like he didn't take those risks last year where it's like, you know what, I don't have a good opportunity to make a play here. Like I'm going to be safe with it. And
just get it in.
And he did that. Yeah. So I'm happy that he's got a multi-year deal in San Jose, but they bring in an Eller who might not score 19 goals, but is going to be good for them on the dot.
Suited to that role.
Yeah, just be a good 4th line center. So I like the makeup their team. And then the other thing I would point to in terms of like differences or whatever is a full season from day one, Zetterlund and Cousins. Yep. So I think there's pressure on Zetterlund to prove that he can be a top 6 guy on this team and score 20 plus goals. And if he's going to play with Stützle and Tkachuk, you're hoping he's probably going to pot 30 of them.
Sure.
And then Dylan Cousins, can he get back to that like 30 goal, 70 point guy that he was 1 year with the Sabres? And he looks jacked. He looks like he's in good shape, and I'm sure everybody's motivated to have a better season and keep building. So I like the makeup of their team. Like it's the deepest Ottawa Senators team we've seen in a long time.
Talk me a little more about Zetterlund. I remember when they made that trade, I think we did a trade deadline episode of the show after they made that acquisition. And I really liked it. It felt like I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that guy was available. I'm not really sure why San Jose, in the position that they were in, were interested in trading that guy away.
Some contract stuff there. I just think that they were just not in agreement in what
it was going to take to keep him.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot for Ottawa, and then it felt like he sort of struggled to fit in, and that's not uncommon for a guy who comes in at the deadline. You know, we're sort of rolling here a little bit. We sort of have a couple things that we think are working, and it didn't really feel like he ever totally got his feet set. A, do you disagree with that? And B, is that the natural spot for him now with a full camp, knowing what Travis Green expects of him, knowing his role, knowing his guy, like the guys that he's going to play with? Like, does that make sense to you? Start that guy with Stützle and Tkachuk?
100%. I think that you do that, and I think he gets a big opportunity to do it, and hopefully he's able to do so. I liked Zach Ostapchuk, and I think that I don't know if they're going to miss what he might become. They might, but sure. I think he's a big body, bottom 6 center iceman that I think is going to be good in that role in the NHL. So they had to give that up. But Zetterlund, it was tough because when he comes in, he's playing on the 4th line because you got Batherson and Perron and Giroux.
We're sort of set here.
Tkachuk on the line. So you had to kind of pick your spots and
we did see him in moments get pushed onto those lines.
Yeah, so he ended up getting there. But so the problem was he only scored 2 goals as a Senator. But I'm optimistic because you could tell he'd go to the areas that he needs to go to score, and he was getting the puck. He was getting chances. He just I don't know how many times I'm like, how did this guy not bury? And maybe that's part of the reason he's been a 20-goal scorer, not a 30 or 40-goal scorer in the past. But he, A, has the shot, B, he has the competitive nature to go into those areas, and just the instincts of getting kind of lost in coverage and go into those soft spots where I do think, I'm optimistic that he is going to have some success there. It just didn't go in for him when he was a Senator. Now he has a full off season, knowing where he is and likely who he'll start with, a full training camp. He knows what Travis Green expects, so he's there from day one. So I'm optimistic that he's going to be, and maybe it's not with Stützle and Tkachuk. I do think that's where they're going to give him the opportunity. But maybe he ends up fitting with Cousins or whatever. But I do think that they're going to give him an opportunity to be a top 6 right winger, and hopefully he ends up being a 25-ish goal scorer for this team.
The other big move at the deadline was the Dylan Cousins one. And as much as I liked the sneaky move for Ottawa to go out and get Zetterlund, I was a little, I don't know, on Dylan Cousins. And it was certainly a worthwhile risk because the Sens had been through some things with Josh Norris and the injuries and whether you're ever going to get what you need to get out of it. Now, I had been pretty high on Josh Norris. I liked him a lot, actually, at one point. Many points. I had said he would be better than Nick Suzuki. That has not panned out well for me thus far. We'll see where that goes. But Dylan Cousins has shown, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, a really good upside. At his best, what he might yet be. And it sort of felt like when he was dropped into the Ottawa lineup, he got off to a nice quick start. And then for me, faded again a little bit. And the question I want to ask you, and you can take this in any direction you want to, is I also really like Shane Pinto. Is there a chance that by the end of the year, if things have not gone the way they had hoped in terms of a rebound for Cousins, that Shane Pinto is your number 2 center?
First off, how about the Leaf guy stirring it up between Sens and Habs fans.
First thing Lloydie said to me when I told him that take, he's like,
Norris is
you're just
better
trying to
than
piss.
Suzuki."
You're just trying to piss everybody off, aren't you?
Look at this. I'll just drop
I
this. and
genuinely
I'll-
believed it. It has not
off.
panned out. It has not panned out.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely think there's a possibility.
Pinto
that-
a lot,
that I'm a big fan of Shane Pinto.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Josh Norris. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite guys.
Saying like when healthy, like man, really good. Like
Just as a guy, like I loved covering him.
I've never spoken to the guy.
Wicked dude, and I have a lot of time for him, and wanted him to have success here. But in terms of like your surprise of that trade, they needed a guy that they knew could be in the lineup.
Who's going to play? Yeah.
And it turned out Josh Norris didn't finish the season with the Sabres.
No.
So
No, in that regard,
had to
like if it
do
was all
that.
based on health, Ottawa came out 100%. We made the right call, right? Like,
I'm going to be rooting for Josh Norris to
same.
stay healthy and have an awesome career. I like
Yep.
that guy a lot.
yep.
And they had to do that, in my opinion. I can't wait to see what Dylan Cousins is, because we've seen flashes not only in that 30 goal a year with Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
but he dominated one of the World Juniors he was in. I think
That's
he had
right.
like 19 or
The
21
workhorse
points.
from Whitehorse.
Yeah, and like he outscored the next highest guy by like 10 points or
Yep.
something. I don't have
There's
the
no
numbers in front of
question
me.
there's talent there.
We're just drinking beers.
Yep.
But
Pub
he
talk,
dominated that one World Junior. So I can't wait to see what again, like same thing I said about Zetterlund. Full summer, full
Yep.
expectation of the roster and
I know
Travis
the
Green.
guys. I know the system. I know what my coach wants from me.
But also like that pressure gone of like the Buffalo stuff where he was supposed to be the dude
Yes.
to turn it around.
Yep.
So now he can come in and like Stützle, Kachuk,
I'm not the guy.
like
I'm
there are other guys.
Yes.
And hopefully he becomes a guy too and just dominates and ends up being there. But yeah, to answer one of your questions, I could totally see a scenario where Pinto's that guy. I got a lot of time for him too.
Because I've seen some talk, and maybe it's just Twitter, right? People get crazy on Twitter. And I can't say I'm not guilty of it from time to time, but I've seen some talk that if Zetterlund doesn't work on the top line, maybe you take a look at Pinto there. And I just hate
I
that
don't
for
like
the
that.
Sens. I hate that.
You've seen that? What is that? Leafs fans talk? What is that shit? Pinto a winger? I have not seen that.
All talk in Leafs Twitter is reasonable and rational and measured all the time. Now, one of the strengths of this team, even if it results in Pinto passing Cousins, is up the middle, right? Like if you're looking at Dylan Cousins as your number 3 center, you're still pretty pumped, right? You're pretty happy, and it means it's because Shane Pinto has taken another big step forward. I don't want to see that guy move to the wing. It sounds like you don't think there's anything to that.
Pinto on the wing?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, he's a center.
100%, man. And a good two-way center, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm looking for him as a possible guy that could explode
because if
a little
Zetterlund
bit.
doesn't work, it gets tough on that top line. Like, who is that guy? Like, Claude Giroux in the playoffs last year sort of felt like he got pushed out a little bit. Like, at some point, that guy will age out, whether it's this year or what. They need somebody to play with Stützle and Brady, and I'm not 100% certain who that is right now. I guess
Zetterlund's going to get that
you're going to
opportunity,
start.
I think.
You're going to start with it, but if it doesn't work, and it doesn't always click, right?
And if Zetterlund doesn't work, then I have
Back to
no
Giroux.
doubt they toss Giroux up there.
Yeah. And then try and address it at the deadline, maybe. Because I don't think, I don't know. You've had a better eye on this team than I have for a long time. I'm not sure I want to go into the playoffs again with Giroux on my top line.
Another option potentially, like I don't. I love Claude Giroux.
Yeah, 100%.
What he
Okay.
means to this
Yep.
lineup, what he's done in his career. But I would personally like to see more pace up there.
Yeah.
And he still can contribute from wherever he ends up
yeah.
slotting, whether it's the second line
Yeah,
or
you
the
still
third
want that
line
guy. I'm just not sure you want him
on the
there.
power play. Yeah, like and we saw last year there was a stretch where Stützle was playing with Giroux and Giroux and Gaudette. It's like there's nobody pushing pace on this line other than Stützle. Like he needs someone that can skate a little bit with him here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tremendous amount of respect for Claude Giroux, and he's a big part of this team. But I think I'm hoping Zetterlund works out and is the answer there. And another name I would throw out, like if it doesn't work, and like I do think Giroux probably gets that other opportunity. But again, if you're still looking for something, maybe Ridley Gregg ends up getting a look there.
Yeah. No, that could be interesting as well because that guy's he's got some skill. I can tell you he's able to irritate some people. I've seen he's going to be on a bobblehead this year. That's a thing that's going to happen. Let's look around the division, man, because to me, this is really interesting. You look at the Leafs. Marner is gone, and everyone's talking about the points that he puts up. It's also their number one penalty kill guy. Like, this is a guy who contributes to every aspect of their game who is now out the door. I have a feeling Matthias Michelli will not be able to take all of that on himself. That was your division winner last year. The Tampa Bay Lightning, I still think they're going to be in that mix. At some point, guys start to age. Like, what's Hedman got left in the tank? Kucherov is still amongst the elite of the elite. Braden Point, the same. The Florida Panthers showed last year they don't give a shit about the final standings and what they do in the regular season. As long as they get in,
Stick us somewhere in there. And
that's
we'll
it.
Figure it
We'll
out.
win the cup from the road. We don't care. Ottawa took the big step last year that people were waiting for somebody to take. Montreal took a big step. I get the sense people like Detroit a little more this year than before. Yeah, I think some of their guys have aged in, and aged in. Like Casper is another year older. We'll see. Dylan Larkin is going the other way, right? You've probably missed his prime. John Gibson, can he play? We'll see. Buffalo, right? But I do think we're talking about Montreal and Ottawa, and then Toronto, Florida, and Tampa. Boston's not going to be as big of a disaster as they turned out to be last year. I think Swayman alone will help, but I'm not sure they're a playoff team. I'm just curious, man. Like, with Toronto taking a step back, Tampa will be in the mix. Florida doesn't care. Montreal and Ottawa, when I say Florida doesn't care, you know what I mean about where they finish. Ottawa and Montreal both being... I think this is finally that year where it's really mushy, right? Like...
No, I don't know, man.
No?
I like the division. Like
I just mean mushy in the sense that Ottawa and Montreal are stepping forward. Toronto is probably stepping back. Florida's not going to put the
how much do
gas
you think
pedal
Toronto's
down.
stepping back?
Like, they're not going to win the division again. But I don't think it's far enough to miss the playoffs.
Do you like? Holy shit! You think there's a chance they could miss the playoffs?
No, I said I don't.
No,
think
but that's why I said you think there's a chance. You said I don't think.
it's always a chance.
Like, where would you put them right now? Top 3 or a wild card?
It depends how much Florida cares. I kind of think Tampa wins the division, and then it's Florida and Toronto, Ottawa and Montreal, all right there. 98, 99 points.
What do you think of?
Am I crazy
the
on
Leafs
that?
roster? No. I think.
I just think they've come
I'm with
back.
you. I don't know if I'd go out and say I think Tampa's going to win the division.
Okay.
But I would say that Tampa.
How scared are you of Montreal right now?
I think I'm not scared of them, but
Are they real? Like, was last year a jump up and it's not quite there yet, or are they
I think
here?
they will be. I don't know if they're here yet.
Okay.
They might be. I'm not saying they're not, but I think that they are primed to continue climbing
Yeah.
the rankings in that division.
Do I have Boston too high when I say they weren't as trash as they were last year?
No, I think the teams. I think you kind of nailed it with not in terms of exactly how it slots, but the teams that I would look at to be competing for playoff spots or like be playoff teams: Toronto, Tampa, Ottawa, Florida,
Montreal. Yeah, and maybe that's still taking a spot from the other. Like, I don't know who in the Metro.
That wasn't in order, by the way. I was just
I
throwing
understand.
out the 5 teams.
But looking at the Metro, like the Islanders aren't going to be good again. Columbus isn't going to be good again. Philly's not going to be good again. Pittsburgh's not going to be good again. Like, at some point you might.
The reason I said 5 is I do think there'll be 5 Atlantic teams.
I do too. And I don't know how. Like you, like
I think New York could be better. So I think Carolina.
the Rangers will be better.
Carolina, obviously playoff team. New Jersey, playoff team.
How sold are you on how real Washington was?
So I don't think they're top of the East real.
Win the division again.
I think they're in the mix for third.
Yeah. Carolina's going to win that division.
It'll be between Capitals and Rangers.
Yeah.
For third.
Yeah.
or one of the three, and then the other one battling with the other Atlantic teams for the wild card spots.
It's going to get...
I don't like Pittsburgh, Philly,
No.
Islanders, Columbus.
There's some bad teams there, man. I don't know. I look at it, and when I say mushy, I don't mean bad in our division.
You just mean they're all going to be like right around the same area.
Together.
I think that's fair.
And even the bottom teams are going to take some more points off of those top teams than they used to. If Detroit,
yeah, that's true. Like if Boston and Detroit
and Buffalo
are not playoff teams, like they're still going to be close to...
Right. If each of them just win 2 or 3 more games, those wins came from somewhere, and it's probably off division rivals, right? Like it's I think it's just going to get reeled back in a little bit, and we'll see, man. It's
tough division.
Yeah. Outside the division, before we wrap up here, anybody else here as camps are firing up? Any storylines you're interested in? Guys you're looking to see?
Like Sens-wise?
Well, across the league, outside the division.
Outside the division.
As you're looking around, is there anybody that...
That's 8.5% there.
It happens, man. It happens. Storylines, teams, lines, new coaches, new...
So not training camp-wise, I don't really give a shit about preseason in any sport for the most part.
Did you sit down and watch... Because I know you got to talk about it on the radio. Did you watch the 2 Sens over the weekend?
I did not. I would have.
Yeah.
I would have, but
you were busy.
Both days, both girls had hockey.
Okay.
Right, and they were like back to back. So we were at the rink for 3+ hours, kind of thing.
You can't get me in there. You just can't get me to jump in.
I would have for sure.
Okay, the rookie camp tournament.
If we didn't have their activities, I would have been watching.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have been because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fired up.
No, this is gonna.
But I am.
Tyler Boucher is about to be a 40-goal guy or whatever. No, like it's just.
I would have been watching A, because it's my job, B, because I'm interested in it. Like even if I left the industry tomorrow,
that's still a check-in.
Okay, let's say a week ago. Let's say I left the industry a week ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any commitments on the weekend, I would have checked it out.
Okay. So yeah,
to answer your question,
yeah.
I don't care about preseason like from a Senators perspective I do, because like there's storylines and battles or whatever, but in terms of like just being a fan of sports, I'm not like, oh, I need to watch this NFL preseason game or this NHL preseason game.
Sens went 4-0 in the preseason. They're going to the Cup. Yeah,
don't care.
It doesn't work that way.
So early season storylines, Jonathan Taves in Winnipeg.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He's 2 years out of the league. His cap, if he hits all those bonuses, could end up at, I think it was like $6 million. It's wild to me. It's a bit much.
I'm rooting for him.
Sure. He, for a while, was my favorite player in the NHL. And it stemmed from that World Junior, the shootout thing in 07.
It was phenomenal.
It was wild.
Carey Price.
Yep. And then Chicago kind of turned me off a little bit. So I'm not sure how I feel about Taves right now, but it's a great story. I don't know, man. You look around. Is Celebrini going to be on the map for an Olympic team berth?
Yep.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I love watching the Sharks. And I'm not fucking with you.
Because you're a late night guy.
Well, I am a late night guy,
10
but
10 p.m. starts. 10:30 it always seems in
10:30.
San
They
Jose.
play at the Tank at 10:30. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's annoying.
I didn't watch any Sharks until the Sens played them for the first time. And I don't remember when that was. The first time they played the Sharks, it was in San Jose. And I think it was in December.
You mean like last year? Not the first time ever. No. Okay. So... Yeah, they went out in December on that West Coast California trip, and that was them. And Marylanen was a part of that.
No, Omar played that game and was phenomenal.
Okay,
and Gaudette scored a couple goals. I think Stützle factored in on it as well. Stützle, Gaudette offensively, and Omar in between the pipes. I think the shots were like 41-11 or something.
Those things where
for
you're
San
asleep
Jose
in the first period.
The Sharks beat the shit out of them.
Okay,
and I'm like, oh my god, this team's fun. So from that moment on.
Yeah.
If it was like a Tuesday and there's nothing going on and I'm at home and it's like, the Sharks are playing I was going to say the Coyotes, but that didn't happen last year. The Sharks are playing the Mammoth or the Utah Hockey Club, whatever. It's like, all right, I'll check this out.
Same, man.
And I'm like, man, these guys play with
Will Smith.
unreal. Yeah. Smith, Eklund, Celebrini.
Fun young team, man.
Oh, man. They play at a great pace. Like, they just skate like crazy and highly skilled. I probably watched 15 San Jose Sharks games last year.
They were, and you won't love this comparison, but the 16-17 Leafs. Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and those Leafs had managed to just keep around.
Except for the players are likable.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to love it. But with Kadri and Bozak and JVR, the Leafs didn't bottom out as hard as the Sharks. But all of a sudden, hey, look at these fun young guys. Like, this is kind of cool.
No, but the Sharks guys are likable.
Okay, I know what you're saying. I'm trying to disagree with you. But no, you're right, man. Like, it's cool to watch. Hey, I think there's something here. I think these guys are going to be something. The Sharks did not have anything backing them up.
But they're likable.
They are likable. I get it. Asshole. I don't even remember why I pushed so hard to get you back in here. But yeah, to me, as a late night team, as a guy like my team's done at 10 o'clock, what am I going to watch? I like them, and I like the Ducks. I think what the Ducks are building could be pretty good here. I like Leo Carlson. We'll see how that's going to pan out. There's some other pieces there. Trevor Zegras, they traded away. I still think there's a chance that might bite them in the ass.
Maybe.
You're not sold on Zegras, eh? Well, no one should be sold on Zegras, but I think there's a chance he could still refine it a little bit with a new lease on life. Obviously, you're not buying it. Anything out in Western Canada? Calgary, I feel like they're going to go back this year, and that
go back?
Go backwards.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like back to the playoffs.
No,
or something.
I don't think that.
No.
They tied.
That's why it's like back?
No,
back
Kadri, 35 goals, and he's another year older. I don't think that's. I think Huberdeau's another year older. Technically, we're all another year older. I think Rasmus Anderson is gone by the time the deadline happens. So I think they're gonna. I don't love Vancouver, and I didn't before the JT Miller nonsense panned out, and he's gone now. I think they're going to be worse. Edmonton is going to be right there to win the division again. But Western Canada is less interesting to me this year than last year. I don't know.
I'm not I don't know about how you are, but I've never been like I'm cheering for these Canadian team to win the cup or whatever.
But I still want to
I have rooted for Canadian teams to win the cup. I'm not saying I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Oilers Hurricanes. Like, I wanted the Oilers to win the cup badly.
For me, 04, Flames, Lightning. I was cheering for the Flames.
Same thing. I was cheering for Iggy and the Flames.
Yep.
But it's not like I'm automatically like, oh, these guys are Canadian. I got to root for them. So it's
funny, man.
I just have to be attached to either players or
2011.
or the team.
I cheered for Boston over Vancouver.
A lot of people did.
And then some bad things happened between me and Boston in the next several years to the next decade or so.
What happened?
Never cheer. I don't want to talk about it. My therapist has made
Boston
an awful
Boston and
lot
Toronto?
of money. Yeah.
What happened?
What happened? It's fine.
What happened?
I'm over it, I swear. I'm totally good. I don't know, man. There's some interesting teams out there. We'll see. Like Gabriel Landeskog, I'd like to see, coming back the way he did last year. Is he still a top 6 guy? Is he more of a third line guy? Like he came back for that short spurt and was able to keep up at the top end. Does he have that still? I'd like to find out. I still like Dallas a lot. That's a well-rounded team. I don't know, man. There's a lot.
The Mammoth. I like the Mammoth.
They're coming, eh?
Yeah,
like I don't know if it'll be this year, but they're coming. They got young pieces, a lot of them.
I did not know we were going to take a twirl around the Western Conference.
I don't know. I know.
No. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying I haven't done any prep yet.
Yeah.
But I will say, based on zero prep, I am predicting the Utah Mammoth to make the playoffs.
Okay. So who's your step back? Is it the Blues, the Jets? It's not going to be the
I've done zero prep.
Okay, yeah. No, you threw it out there. I'm putting you on the spot now.
So they're going to be a wild card team.
Yeah.
Because the Avalanche and Stars.
I'm not sold on the Wild, so maybe that's your spot. Maybe that's...
Avalanche and Stars are locks for the top 3.
Yep.
And then probably Winnipeg.
And the Mammoth. So it's got to be Minnesota who's fallen out.
Winnipeg, Utah, Minnesota battling for third/wild card. You go to the Pacific, obviously Edmonton and Vegas.
Yep.
And then
LA still? I hated their offseason, but I think they're probably still good enough.
Yeah, they're probably. So you know what? There could be 5 Central Division teams in the playoffs.
Way this shakes loose.
So again, zero prep, and this is just me
shooting
being
from
a little
the hip.
bit buzzed, shooting from the hip.
8.5%
Utah
beer.
Mammoth, love the logo, love the jersey.
Yeah.
They're making the playoffs.
Okay. I think we should wrap this one up here, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you making some time to come back in here. I know as much as I bust on you, as much as you may have been referred to as the pigeon around here a couple of times.
What the fuck is that? By you and Bunda? Yeah. I'm sitting here like, Bunda, salt of the earth, great guy.
And Creech the pigeon.
For what? Being busy?
For having a family. For having a real life outside of beers and sports talk. What a loser.
You jackass.
100%, man. That is well earned. I think I called you that in text the other night, and you're like, yeah, fuck you. And you're like, yep, that's fair. That's about right. I do appreciate you coming back in, man. It's always fun. We will, well, when your schedule allows, get Bunda back in here. We'll do some fight talk. And,
yes. I honestly, I haven't. I'm pretty sure there's some pretty good cards coming up, but I'm blanking on who they are and what they are and when.
Well, that's because Dana's been blanking too. He's focused on the boxing thing right now. So.
No, but I feel like there's something in the next month or two that there's something pretty big. Aspinall, when's he fighting?
Off the top of my head, I don't fucking know.
Okay, let's do an MMA pod. I think there's a big card coming up.
See, I'd like that, and it was important though to get this one in before the Sen season started, because then you're going to be balancing NHL hockey for 1,200. You got to be the family man and do the hockey thing over there on top of being the dad guy. That whole thing. You're a tough guy to get a hold of, man. And as much as I bust on you, it's not like I don't understand. It's not like I don't get it, but it's fun to
come
throw
in.
an
We'll
elbow.
talk some MMA with
we will do
me
that.
and a couple of grocery sticks.
There you go. Okay. See,
Call me a pigeon.
I like
you guys
that.
are fucking grocery sticks.
I like that. Okay. We'll wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for listening. Coming up later this week, you are going to hear from Andy Nita from the Nita Beer Company, and I forgot to mention it off the top. Dan Schulman from the Blue Jays broadcast team. He will be here on Thursday morning, and it is interesting times for your Toronto Blue Jays. Creature, thanks for doing it, man.
So I didn't know if you were like running a promo there or if I could speak, but that's fucking wicked.
Yeah.
Schulman?
He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
A couple times a year he shows up here. He's a good guy.
In person?
No.
Sorry.
Not one time.
You can cut this. Cut this, please. Actually, I was gonna.
He's run some promotions with Left Field Brewing. We like those guys, so he's a craft beer guy. We
Schulman,
like
great
Frozen
voice,
Rope, yeah.
And his son sounds exactly like him.
He's gonna be good. I know a lot of people got upset, and I get it that his kid got the radio gig. He's pretty good.
He's good.
He calls a
He's
good game. Calls a good game. So we'll wrap it up here. Creature, appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up and speak to Dan Schulman on Thursday morning and Andy Nita from the Nita Beer Company on Friday morning. We're on social media at Tall Can Audio, and you can catch Creech, I was going to say every day, most days, on the drive on TSN 1200, and when the season gets started, pre- and post games around your Ottawa Senators. My name is Matt Robinson. We'll see you next time.
I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that, but for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.